Hello, everyone, and welcome to Compliance Corner with John Hanson. Today is Tuesday, April 11th, and my name is Cole Finley, and I'm here with my wonderful friend, Mr. John Hanson, for another Compliance Corner. How you doing today, John?
Doing great, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about backup offers and some good things to know about that. So let me share with everybody our list of things you'd like to chat about and walk us through it, John.
Okay, so when there's a backup offer, and that's Form 38A, no earnest money is needed until your buyer, through you, receive notification that the buyer is moving into first possession. So, so that's going to be by way of Form 38B, and so so as well as all other timelines, for inspections and everything else, nothing begins until that Form 38B has been sent by the seller to you on behalf of your buyer, notifying you that your buyer is in first possession now. Okay? Up until that time, the buyer is free to continue to look at properties, and if they see something they like, to withdraw this one and move on to the next one and that kind of thing. Again, sometimes it gets to be erased to see whether that 38B form is sent from the seller to you for your buyer first, or you give notice that your buyer is terminating first. You got to make sure that your buyer terminates before receiving that 38B. So, but the nice thing really for both sides on this, buyer and seller, for the buyer, it's really a nice situation. So, and I've just recently seen a couple of situations where that backup buyer moved right into first position really fast. So to be in that backup position is not a bad thing, as long as that buyer does have that right to continue looking at properties and withdrawing the backup offer so they can move on to something else. They can do that. So it gives that buyer some control still, and yet they're in that position in case they can move into that first position on the other one. And then being in the backup for the seller is really nice, because the seller, of course, has now a little more leverage to push that initial first buyer along, and the seller listing agent wouldn't have to divulge necessarily that there is a backup offer, but it's a good thing to do so. It works for the seller's best interest to put a little pressure on that first buyer to let them know, hey, I've got a backup offer in position, so keep me posted on how things are going, because I know they're anxious to get into first position if that's a possibility. But we want your buyer to get there. But you just want to make sure we're in the loop on this, right? And so communication is really important. I've been disappointed in the communications going on between agents through this COVID thing and everything. So, so we've got to get better at our communication. Representing our clients, we need to be available for notifications and give prompt notifications on everything. And this backup situation is a good example.
Absolutely. It's interesting, John. I've had a couple of different conversations probably over the past month, because we're in such a hyper seller's market right now that we are back to massive multiple offers. And a couple of the agents I spoke with actually didn't even know that they could put a backup offer in. So I think it's so timely that you're talking about this. And make sure, guys, that if you aren't really familiar with the forms, if you aren't familiar with the legal aspect of your contracts, take John's forms classes as well. It's really important. The thing that I always tell agents, John, and I know you'll agree with me on this, is two things. The calmest person in the room always wins, and the person who knows the forms best always wins. So John, would you remind us when you do your forms classes?
Yeah, every Wednesday from 2 to 4 o'clock. The Zoom thing is there. So if you go to what Goldie sends out, and just click the link and you have to register by just saying your name and email so that you can get your certificate and stuff. You're in. So hope to see everybody in my Zoom forms class tomorrow.
Perfect, perfect. Well, John, thank you so much for a wonderful compliance corner. And I so hope you and hope everybody else stays safe, stays healthy, and more importantly, stay active. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Bye.